Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Delusional Daydreams podcast. I am your host, Ari Lou, and if you can't tell, I am back in my childhood bedroom. I'm not where I normally am. I have officially moved away from Colorado, and I'm back in my hometown, living with my dad. Whoop whoop! Shit. Wow, yeah. I feel like it's been a minute since I've recorded anything. I know the last time I recorded, I totally blew up because my life was in shambles and one after the other just kept falling apart. And I just really needed to take some time to process everything, especially like driving out here, Bandit's in the background. I don't know if you can see him. Say hi, bud. You say hi? You want to say hi? Yeah. Bandit's with me too. Of course, I was not going to leave him behind. Him and I are stuck together like glue. Yeah, bud. Are we on a new adventure out here? Yeah, we are, huh? Well, let's see. I've been here for a couple days now. So last week, Bandit and I rented a car. Shout out to my dad for helping me pay for that because your girl, after breaking up with her 4-year-long relationship, was left with absolutely nothing. I gave my everything into that relationship and I was left with no money, no car, no career, just me, Bandit, and a few clothes that I have been wearing for the past 5 years. So my dad, being the savior that he was, totally helped me out and helped me rent a car, and Bandit and I packed everything up and we ventured out onto the open road for an 18-hour drive across the country to make it here in Washington State. And now that I'm here, it actually, it feels so good. I wasn't expecting it to feel this good, to be back in my childhood bedroom, to be back in my hometown, to be back at my parents' house. I really was nervous about coming out here and what feels like taking steps backwards, backtracking, going back to my hometown, going back to the environment that was the catalyst to my biggest drug addictions and my really intense parts and chapters of my life. It took a lot of strength to realize that me coming back here doesn't mean I'm coming back to my old ways, but coming back here is truly a fresh perspective. It's me experiencing my hometown in a way that I've never experienced it before, because I feel like I'm at a point in my life where after the last relationship, and I have to take a moment to, and I know I've already kind of said this in previous episodes, but I do have to take a moment to say how grateful I am for the way things ended between Luke and I. At this point, him and I are friends, and there's no toxicity, there's no drama, there's no tension. Him and I are truly at this point where we're going our separate ways with nothing but love and support for each other, because I see him and respect him for who he is as a human being. And even though it's not our time and it didn't work out the way we had foreshadowed and expected, doesn't mean he's not a great person. Just because we didn't work out romantically doesn't mean I don't love him as a human being and he's not a great friend. I support him through everything he wants to do and everything he wants to achieve. And this truly is such a unique experience, because not only have I never seen an example like this set for me, I've never fucking heard of anybody splitting like this. I think the best example I've ever heard of, which isn't, I don't even know how the inner workings of their relationship was, but I truly feel like I'm tapping into this Fleetwood Mac, Stevie Nicks kind of vibe where it's like, even though the romantic relationship didn't work out, doesn't mean that you can't be friends, you can't be partners, and you can't work together on building something great, because just because the romance isn't there doesn't mean you don't have a great partnership in a different kind of aspect with that person. It really is just such a unique experience to be experiencing, but I'm just so overwhelmed with the gratitude, not only for the situation being the way it is, but since I've been back here for the last couple of days, my parents are actually out of town. My dad and my stepmom are actually in New York City right now. My dad had this trip planned for months. Actually, I want to say almost a year. Like, they have been planning this trip for so long. My dad was so excited. I don't blame him. It's his first time to New York City. I've never been. It's always been a dream to go and visit. But I know they're having an absolutely epic time. But the timing of it all is fucking hilarious, because literally the day that they flew out to go to New York City on their vacation is the day that I picked up the rental car, packed up the car, and drove out of Colorado on my way here. So since I've been here, it's just been Bandit and I having the whole house to ourselves. And at first I was like, oh, that's going to be kind of weird. But since I've been here and had the house to myself all week, it has been the biggest blessing in disguise, the biggest divine timing literally ever, because it's given me the time and the space to process everything emotionally, to unpack everything, and to not have that kind of like external pressure of like, okay, did you put your job applications in? Okay, like, have you done this yet? Okay, have you unpacked? Okay, like, why isn't this, like, and I know that they probably wouldn't be like that, because I am feeling a huge sense of love and support, and biggest thing is empathy, which I was not expecting. But it is nice to just be here and have the space and the time to just kind of settle in, get comfortable, and just realize that this is my new reality, or my reality for now. I'm not saying I'm trying to be here forever, but I'm so grateful that they are providing me with not only a roof over my head, so I don't have to worry about that right now, especially in these difficult times. But when I came to the house, I shit you not, I opened the fridge and I fucking cried. I'm about to cry right now just thinking about the overwhelming amount of love and support I'm being given. But opening that fridge and seeing the amount of food, opening the pantry, opening the freezer, and I was just like, holy shit, like, I have not seen a kitchen with this much food in it since pre-COVID days. Like, honestly, I was just absolutely baffled at the amount of food, and just like, oh my God, it's another thing I don't have to stress about, at least for this week. It's like, they really went ham and went grocery shopping for me, and I feel, I'm gonna cry. I wasn't expecting to cry. Shit, one sec. But I seriously am feeling just the most overwhelming amount of love and support from everybody on this side of my family. And even from my grandparents. What's really epic is this little neighborhood suburbia that we live in here in Washington State. My grandparents live, not even 2 miles down the road, which is so convenient, because the first day I was here, or the first full day I was here, they were able to help me return the rental car, and then they took me out to lunch. And then yesterday, me and Grandma had a full day where, after I had unpacked everything and realized that I needed to go through all the drawers and all the closets and all the bathroom shit from my childhood bedroom that has just been piling up with shit since I was a kid, having to go through everything. And I had bags and bags and bags of thrifted stuff so I can make room for my new stuff. So my grandma and I went to Goodwill yesterday, and I took her thrift. I was like, well, if we're, if we're dropping off all this stuff anyways, like, let's go inside and check some stuff out. And my grandma is not a thrift shopper, especially a Goodwill shopper. And I don't even know why Goodwill has like a negative connotation compared to all the other thrift stores, but I took her in there and oh my God, the amount of success I had. My grandma is a huge shopper, so showing her a different version of shopping and just having so much fun with it. Like, we were there for hours. We were in Goodwill for at least 2-3 hours, just going through all the racks. And I'm usually not a shopper, but I feel like stepping into this era of my life, I have been wearing the same fucking clothes for the last 5 to 8 years. And my wardrobe was seriously just a collection of hand-me-downs from old friends, from exes, random gifts from people, thrift shopping. But basically, it's like I've just had this wardrobe of stored past life energy that I have been wearing for the past 5 to 8 years. And being able to go to Goodwill and basically get an entire new wardrobe for about $100. We spent $100 and I got myself an entire new wardrobe of shit that looks so fire, looks so good, and for the first time makes me feel like me when I'm putting clothes on. Because I've never been a fashionista, but I'm really just trying to step into things that make me feel good in my own skin when I wear them. When I go out in the world, I feel confident. I feel grounded in my own energy. I feel authentic. We also went and got coffee at the new local coffee shop. It's crazy. When I was growing up in this neighborhood, this little suburb used to be kind of like all farmland. When I was growing up, there were like no houses. Like, there were a few neighborhoods, but it was basically farmland. And now, holy shit, it is suburbia fucking city out here. There are houses stacked on top of houses with no yards, no property. It's just like absolutely dumbfounding and like fascinating that people are willing to pay what they're paying to live in what they're living. I don't truly understand it, but it is fascinating how much has grown out here, because we not only have all the suburbs, but it's almost turning into like a little town. Like, they've got little areas with coffee shops and restaurants and brew pubs and thrift stores and retail stores and dentist offices that were never there before. So it was really cool to be able to drive around and be driven around by grandma to get me out of the house a little bit. So grateful that they are so close, and so grateful for the amount of love and support they're giving me. But like I said, something I wasn't expecting is the amount of empathy that I have been receiving, specifically from my grandparents, because that's really all I have contact with right now until my parents come back into town and until I get a job. I was definitely a little bit nervous coming out here because, not only have I been humbled down to absolutely fucking nothing, which is in a sense very embarrassing, like having to ask my dad for help, having to ask my grandparents for help, having to ask anybody for help. I'm not usually one that likes to ask for help at all. Like, I will do anything it takes. I will suffer the greatest fucking consequences before I ask for help. And I think that just stems from childhood trauma and having this belief that my entire existence within itself is already a burden. So why would I put my extra baggage onto anybody when just me breathing is a big enough burden? But having to actually reach out for help and say, I need help, and letting those walls down and just being humbled to nothing. And I'm just so grateful, because when my grandparents took me out to lunch, hearing my grandparents open up about their life story and a chapter of their life story that I have never heard before, those years of their life when they were traveling all over the country, moving, buying houses, selling houses, being relocated for jobs, having absolutely no money, also being pregnant, having kids, raising kids, and just being humbled time and time again. It was just very welcoming to realize that they're not necessarily looking down on me as being weak, and they're not disappointed, and they're not like, oh, like, of course Ari would be in this situation and get herself in this situation. It's very forgiving, and it's very understanding, and it's just amazing to realize that, you know, we all go through hard times, and we all get kicked in the ass. In almost every single person's life, there will be a point where you will be humbled to a point where you need to ask for help, where you feel like you don't know where to turn except to ask for help. Those moments in your life can truly be the most transformative times in your life, because that is what builds character. That is what gives you appreciation for the good times. And it also gives you chances to reflect and take responsibility and accountability for the fact that the reason you're here, like where you're at in your life, is simply just a reflection of every single choice you've made in your life up until this point, right? And taking responsibility and accountability and learning, where did I go wrong? Where can I do better? And how can I move forward with more intention? It's all learning. And to understand that my family understands that, or to see that my family understands that in a way I wasn't expecting to be seen and understood, it just filled my heart. I definitely was not expecting to cry during this one. I thought I ran out of tears at this point, you guys. It has been nonstop. Even my nose is going crazy. Now that I'm back, and I'm not fully settled, but my things are unpacked. It's the first time I'm able to get the microphone out, the camera out, and really sit down and have a conversation with you guys. It feels really good to be where I'm at right now. And having this time to reflect is seriously just so empowering, because I feel like for the first time, I'm truly stepping into my truth and into my authenticity, and understanding, or getting to understand, taking the time to understand what it is I truly want, what it is I truly value, and what it is I truly want to pursue. Like, I'm at this point, like, I am not fucking interested in going out and chasing anything, anyone other than my own dreams and desires and things that make me feel good. Because it's about time that I start focusing on me. The money that I spending it wisely on things that make me feel good, things that make me feel like me, on experiences, on learning new things, on new hobbies, new passions, new interests. You know, just being way more dialed in, and not necessarily dialed into like a work sense, but dialed into me, into my authenticity. And it just feels really good to be at this point in my life where it's like I am truly stepping into living a life that I have never lived before. So this is all new territory for me, and I'm taking it one step at a time. And I'm just so fucking grateful. I'm so fucking grateful for all of it. I'm grateful for how everything has been playing out, even though I have yet to fully see why things are happening the way they're happening. I'm just grounding myself in this delusional belief that everything is happening for a reason, the way it's meant to happen. And it's all happening for this big plan that I can't see yet. And just because I can't see it yet doesn't mean it's not working in my favor. I feel great. I feel great being here. Wasn't expecting it. So grateful for everyone that is currently in my life, the clarity I've gained on who is meant to be in this next season of my life. And I'm just grateful for you. So I think that's all I have today, folks. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening to me just blab on and get emotional during these crazy fucking times. Fuck. Until next time, Ari Lou signing out. Peace punch, Captain Crunches.